right.
We're live now. We've talked for 30 minutes thinking we were live, and we weren't.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes. People are here. Well, you know.
Good morning. Oh, look, Tuesday morning live stream with the Waxed.
I know. It's amazing, isn't it?
You're a rooster. Do you have eggs?
Well, I was like, roosters don't lay eggs, first of all.
No,
Secondly,
but it's true. But do you
So speaking of my life as consumed with flattening records, I got some records in brand new that are warped. I'm sick of it.
Really?
Well, the one to talk about is, let's see if I can pull it out here, is I joined that Verve record club. Are you familiar with this thing?
Yes.
And the initial record that they are put out here. First of all, there's lots of critiques of this thing. The critique, first of all, is the record is warped. I think the records are done at RTI. It is numbered. I got 621. This is Coltrane on Impulse. I've had another version. I think the cover people have commented is a little dark. It's a really nice jacket. I don't know if it's a Stoughton jacket. But it's warped. And it sounds really good and stuff, but I have to say, a brand new Tone Poet to me is a little more impressive than this was. It came with a turntable mat, and that was kind of cool. But it sounds good. It's all analog. It's I think Ryan K. Smith mastered this, so it's good. And I guess this is RTI's new sleeves. I don't think that are any better than their last ones, but it's warped. Come on. And the jacket's too big for a normal sleeve to put the sleeve on regular.
Oh, that's
when the jacket's a little oversized. So there's criticisms of this.
Huh. Mine's a reissue too.
And it doesn't feel, I reached out to them and it's just the normal Universal that you reach out to, like who runs You Discover and the Impulse Verve site and all the ones. So it doesn't feel yeah. It's it's nice, but I canceled the subscription after getting this one. It doesn't feel like there's anything special to it. All right, other record flattening news. What's that one? That's
silly-ish.
Yeah. I got this Cure record that was warped. I didn't even notice it, and it was a big warp. But I flattened this pretty good. It has a little light thing, but it was severely warped. So this flattened to very playable. Yeah, it's a great sounding record. I think people can correct me. That might be a second or third press of this record. U.S. pressing.
Huh.
So
this is I was just listening to some Coltrane this morning.
Hold on. What is Michael saying? Oh, that's a good one.
No kidding, man. This is such a good record. The last song on side 2 is amazing.
It is?
Yep. What's it called? After the Rain or something?
I haven't listened to that record in a while, so I have to pull it out.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
So here's something I purchased yesterday.
Okay, let's see.
Spent way too much money on an OG record.
Dude, you have like 18 copies of that.
No, not this record. I only have like a weird ass picture disc. This is a mint.
Where'd you get that? Where'd you get that at?
Got it off the wall at Freak Beat. And I was very good about it. I saw it on the wall. I went home to make sure I didn't already own it. I called them. They put it aside for me. I went and picked it up. So it is mint. I paid a fortune for it, but it sounds great. Great, fun record. I don't know what's going on with these guys now. Maybe they should hang it up.
Well, they punch each other and they
Yeah,
ended
they had a
everything.
fist fight at a show.
Yeah.
I wouldn't fight Dave Navarro. That's for sure. Don't anyone tell my wife that I spent $150 on this record.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I love it, man. It's so good. Really killer record.
I'll tell you a killer record right here. I had the reissue that came out last year of this, and I found an OG copy. Or I don't know if I think it's an OG of this Billy Harper in Europe. This record is fucking awesome. This is like slapping you in the face. This is
really
power jazz.
I've never heard of that guy.
I call his style like power jazz. It's powerful.
Okay.
On Soul Note. So I put my reissue in. I'm doing an auction Saturday. If anyone doesn't know, come by my auction Saturday.
Very nice.
This is a record everyone should own. If you like jazz, this is kick ass. Kick ass.
Never heard of it.
Of course you didn't. You buy 17 copies of Jane's Addiction records.
That's true. I buy the same record over and over and over.
Yep.
Until I get it right.
You don't get it right, but you don't get it right.
No. Look, everyone's here. So, Tokyo Record Style, I came across something. Lifestyles, 33 ways to improve your life. Japanese style. So, yeah, I'm going to start.
How many of those ways is sex?
0, but get your rice right. Get your rice right, people. I'm going to work on that.
That sounds like a bad saying.
Invest in a good pair of slippers. Come on. My problem is I have dogs. So what difference does it make? Unless you're going to wipe your dog's feet, which apparently some people do. Not in this house, though. It shall never happen. Anyway, I have compact discs that skip. I managed to skip compact discs. They skip.
Really?
Yeah, they won't play in my crappy
in your car
CD player, which still sounds better than streaming, by the way. Vinyl Piper's moving to New York City.
I don't know. Richard James, I don't take checks. So you're done. Hold on.
You know what?
Right, hold on. Apparently, he's just talking to you and not me.
Who are you talking about? Oh, yeah, Vinyl Piper? Yeah. I don't know any stores in New York necessarily. A1 Record Finders.
You're shit out of luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hit the thumbs up now. I just hit the thumbs up.
Okay, hold on. Can I put something out into the atmosphere? Vinyl Piper started this thing where he texts me and he goes, thread closed. Like I can no longer respond to him. Thread open, thread closed.
That's just like no erasing. I tap no bombing, no erasing.
Mm-hmm. Here you go, Vinyl Piper. Richard James is helping you. Go to these stores and leave us alone.
How about standards? I know they have one in New York.
You won't go to that the Jazz Record Center. I know you won't go there, right?
Jazz Record Center, man, they threw Record Collector News out. They kicked us out.
Why?
They said that like 2 years ago or a year ago, nobody was picking up the Janis Joplin cover. So whatever. People don't want to walk up a flight of stairs.
Rob, how do you determine who gets your cell number? I don't have it, and there's something wrong with your vetting system. Well, you're never going to get it. Plus, what's the difference? Do you honestly believe if someone sends you a message through Instagram or any of the many other ways you can get it, is there a difference? Plus, I would have to think that most of the stuff you would send me is annoying. Right? Thank you.
There you go. When is someone...
Did Ken McAuliffe manhandle you, Jim? Have you ever met him?
No, never communicated with him or anything.
No.
The only communication I got, and I'm not sure it was from him, was, please don't send us your paper. No one picked up the...
He sent it to you, or they
I'm
did?
not sure if it was from him or not. It was from, and I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you. My degree of concern can be measured in micro give-a-shits.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, you give a shit about a lot of things.
Well, yeah, but getting kicked out of actually, that's not true. I'm pissed that anyone would Record Collector News. It's a free paper. I don't do anything bad.
People, there's a lot of my feeling with a lot of record stores is there's a lot of ego,
attitude,
attitude. So.
My favorite record store is Mississippi Records up in Portland. In terms of attitude, those guys kicked me out like you can't even believe. I mean, that was awesome. I went in there. Well, it's a short story, but I have to make it long.
Hey, I haven't seen. I only normally see Heather Hughes at the auction, so it's nice to see you here, Heather.
Morning, Heather.
Well, I try to spoil you. Hey, Craig, there's a record I found that I had for you from a long time ago. So I'll remember to, if you ever buy some from the auction, to let you know about
Piper, I think you need to, you're looking at Atomic Records wrong.
Well, what's the matter?
He's complaining that one of the brothers is rarely nice to him.
I think it's a process of, here's okay. There are two types of people who shop at record stores regularly. Okay. There's the type like Vinyl Piper who have no time for chit chat, go in, if they get what they want and leave. Then there are people who just go through the bins, absorb the place, look at the records, and then chit chat with people. He's not a chit chatter. If you go into Atomic, the best way to ingratiate yourself to them is to chit chat with them. They like the chit chat.
Yeah, they're stuck there all day. They're brothers. They hate each other.
They like stories.
Yeah.
So they're never going to like you, Vinyl Piper, because you're not a chit chatter. I have no time for you. I'm leaving. And you literally say that to people.
Also, at some point, they like comments like, there are two record stores in Burbank. So if you say to them in a low voice, if you say this is like the third best record store in Burbank, they love that kind of shit.
Hold on. Are there really two record stores? The other one's pretty lame.
There's 1.5. No, there's 2. There are, in fact, 2.
Yeah, but that's a lame store.
Come on. I don't think there's any such thing as a lame store. They're
that
all... Every store has its good side.
Hold on. So Craig has a store. Why don't you send a stack of Record Collector Newses to him in England?
England, because it costs like $500 and it's not worth it.
Okay. Have you ever tried to send them to another country?
I have subscribers in Europe that I send it to regularly, and
Well, when people buy records from me, if you're in another country, I include a copy of Record Collector News.
There was a store in Germany, in Berlin, and I used to send him a box, but it got, it would take forever. It cost.
Hold on. I will say that should be your favorite record store, because the guy who owns it is not a chit chatter. That guy does not chit chat. He's the record store guy who does not chit chat. Uh-oh. Speaking of chit chatters,
have you thought of maybe doing a cover article with a non-boomer act to expand your audience?
Okay. Well, what I'm trying to do is I have a no social security.
Yeah.
you know what he keeps saying? I want younger people on the cover. You know what he keeps putting on the cover?
Ancient people.
Yeah. Who's the next cover person?
A lot of dead people. A lot of dead people.
I see dead people. Yeah, I'm trying to get. I would like to migrate to the 80s. I would like to move up to.
Oh wow! Yeah, 45 years ago.
Only 45 years ago. Yeah, I would love that. But at the same time,
why don't you do an article on Bauhaus and not the band?
You want to know who's on you want to know who's
the architectural school of art out of Germany post World War One? That would
you really want to know who's on the cover of Shindig? Is what's her name? Linda Ronstadt. A young Linda Ronstadt is on the cover.
That's boomer stuff.
What? No, that's no better than what I do. Other than
I agree. No, I'm saying I like Linda Ronstadt, but let's get Patti Smith. Well, that's boomer too. Get Sonic Youth. Get that's 80s too. God shit, everybody's so old.
No, but I would love 80s. I would love Sonic Youth. I would love.
Obviously, The Cure is big again, and they're from the 80s, and Echo and the Bunnymen.
I'm going to wind up with
Joy Division.
How about if we reverse everything? What do you think about what's her name from the GTOs, Miss Pamela DeBars?
No one knows who she is anymore.
But she's like a
She was
hold on, Rufus.
She was something 20 years ago. She's not relevant today.
Rufus T. Cat. Bauhaus started out as an art school in Germany post World War One, and it was about modern art, getting rid of ornate stuff for making architecture, design.
What about brutalism? What about this brutalist shit?
Well, that's brutalist too. That's 50s, 60s, and that's more American rather than all the Germans that came here post World War II. So
my wife
I know my art shit.
My wife has been buying
art school, but it was art school, but it was about architecture, art, design, product design, furniture. It was all of that, and they literally built a building which is considered the first Bauhaus building. Their art school was just that. So yes, okay. I didn't list everything off, Rufus.
Rufus T.
Good morning. Thank you, Rufus.
Do you agree with my assessment that there are two types of people who shop in record stores? Those who just want to get in there, get what they want, and leave, or chit chatters, people that like to stay and.
I think there's a third. I think there's a third, but
what's the third?
What's the third?
People that are.
Oh yeah. Jim's the third. A guy
shoplifters.
Who buys 17 copies of the same album.
Shoplifters are the third.
Shoplifters are the third. No.
How do you
there are people in there,
record stores?
There are people in there that
I did it once.
There are people that want to go in and do their business and get out. There are people that want to yak and get out. But there are people that go in there that are incapable of. There are people that are in there that sometimes I look around and I go, are all of these people in fact human? Is one of them possibly an alien amongst us, visiting, communicating with the mothership? It's a possibility. I've been in enough record stores.
Obey.
I've been in enough record
there
stores.
There you go. DJ Trish, her guys are chit chatters.
Chit chatters.
I talk to people in record stores. It depends.
Okay. Jim has witnessed me in action. He gets it, because I don't understand when people say to me, I don't understand why people like you. And record store guys like me. Even the most hardcore antisocial ones.
Because they
So
see
the
a
only-
mark coming in.
The only reason they like you is because they like me. That's all. You're just getting, you know.
Hold on. Do you like it when people come to your store, Craig, and chit chat? Or do you just want them to get in and get out?
Hey, Jim, I like Mississippi Records too. I know people that don't like that store for some reason because it's kind of
no.
esoteric. I like it.
Oh no.
You don't like it?
Oh no. I've never been treated ruder at a record store than I was at Mississippi. I was literally thrown out of Mississippi Records. I walked in on a beautiful spring day. It was warm. The birds were chirping, and Mississippi Records had just moved. They're no longer on Mississippi Street.
Right, they're on the side street.
And they were not next to the coolest coffee shop in Portland.
Well, they're around a corner of some good coffee shop. So,
but when I walked in, they had recently moved. They were no longer on Mississippi, and so I walked in there.
They're not even in Mississippi.
Huh?
They're not even in Mississippi.
They're not in Mississippi, and they're not on Mississippi Street. So it's like I've got a record store called Main Street, and I'm on South Street. Yeah. But at any rate, I thought, wow, this would be a good opportunity for Mississippi Records to let our readers know that they moved. So I walked into the store, whistling a tune, and I was wearing short pants. And I have a tattoo on my leg of a Grateful Dead skull. And inside the skull, there's an LA Dodgers. Or it says LA, like they.
I'd throw too if I saw that.
Like so I walked into this record store, whistling a tune, gorgeous day, and I had a bundle of the current record collector news. And I'd never been in Mississippi before. And let me tell you, man, that store is gorgeous. The wood looks like it was harvested from a ghost pirate ship or something. I mean,
it's not a boomer store. They do a lot of their own. It's esoteric folk and
well, I would say it's the ultimate boomer store myself.
Well, it's a trendy store.
But at any rate, in terms of record stores, so I didn't really get a chance to look around that much because I walked in with a smile on my face, and there was a young lady there who identified herself as one of the owners, and I walked into a wall of hate. It was just hatred on her face. And I didn't know what was going on. Hey, I'm Jim with Record Collector News. She goes, we don't want your paper in here. It doesn't work.
That's a bad way to start it out.
It doesn't work with what we're doing. And I go, well, I thought, I was so shocked. I said, I thought since you moved, you might be interested in placing an ad telling everyone you moved. And she goes, we have a sandwich board. and as I turned around, just hate dripping away from her onto me. As I left with my little bundle in my hand, I said, well, my readers in Long Beach can't see your sandwich board from there. And I was like upset because why all the hate? And I realized the hate was from the LA tattoo on my leg.
Oh, it could be.
It was responding to the LA.
No, well, hold on.
Wait.
There's lots. You give off lots of vibes to hate about.
I do personally.
You're short. People hate short people.
Yeah. So anyway, I decided to do a travel log of record stores in the Portland area. And when I got to Mississippi Records, I trashed the shit out of them. And I said they were the classic record store with just total attitude, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I'm positive that the hate was generated from the LA tattoo on my leg. And the thing that I find interesting is her mother is probably migrated from Fullerton, California, back in the 70s, which there was a big migration from Orange County to
Fullerton.
So fuck that. Yeah, from Orange County. Fullerton.
Russell, they are the same label. They do the record label. It is the same label. That's one thing.
So I got calls after that ran. After I trashed him, I got calls. What happened? What happened? That wasn't the owner. I know the owner. I said she identified herself as one of the owners. But anyways, fuck that store.
First of all, if you ever go to New York now and go to the Second Avenue Deli, it's not on Second Avenue anymore. So there's that.
I understand.
And okay, some blogger, photographer took a picture about 7 years ago, one of me in that store, unbeknownst to me, and one of my friend Coleman. And if you look on like the Portland travel side of record stores, like people have sent me, he goes, this guy looks a lot like you. I'm in like ads they used on the Portland tourist industry. And there's one at Coleman. And, you know, I understand because, you know, like I shoot videos in stores and you capture people. But when you're doing an ad for like they should have a photographer should get a talent release for advertising. Editorial is different if you're doing a blog, but as an ad, they should have.
Well, you know, they could use it, but see, you lend yourself to be used for many different types of ads. Male pattern baldness,
Yes,
erectile dysfunction.
That's it, Rob. That's it,
incontinence.
Anyway, I'm sorry about that. Mississippi treated you so shittily. I like that store, but I know people that don't like it because it's not their taste in music, and it's not. You're not going to get a big. Yeah.
My experience was it had the most bullshit attitude I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's terrible. I don't
awesome.
like that.
Which is it's fantastic. It's great because it's like straight out of
yeah, but I hate that attitude actually.
Whatever that movie was.
Yeah, High Fidelity. Yeah.
High Fidelity. Straight out of High Fidelity.
I'm trying to subscribe to a new thing. If you know you're a moron, I don't need to call you a moron. There you go.
Anyway, they did a great. I missed it. I don't know why I missed it, but they did a reissue about 10 years ago, 10, 11 years ago of the you know, the folk music box sets, like all the people like in Greenwich Village got turned on to learn the old folk music. What is it called? The History of American Music, or Alan, help me out.
Oh, yeah.
The field recording archivist,
right.
You know, guy. And that hasn't been reissued again. And even those go for a lot of money. And I got the CDs of them, and I blew it not getting those vinyl records. Not the History of American Music. Someone help me out here. Those records that all those old blues and folk records, all those artists would listen to and cover. Alan Lomax. Thank you, Audio Geek.
Lomax.
Yeah.
Well, he said it first.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's actually the Harry Smith Anthology American Music. That's what it is. Harry Smith.
Oh.
Alan you're all wrong with the Lomax.
Well, Alan Lomax did the same thing, but different. But the box set is the Harry Smith, the history, the anthology.
You know who else went out and recorded? You know who else did field recordings? Chris Strackwitz.
Chris Strackwitz.
From
our Hooli. Yeah. Chris helped my buddy Vernon when he was dying. I knew Chris, and we would talk about Vernon helping Vernon out when he was in hospice and stuff. So about 3 years before Chris died, we would talk on the phone once a week for about 2 months. Really, I mean, he was old then. He was in his hitting 90 or something. I don't like that rock and roll music. He would just he hated what do they call it? The fast music or the whatever.
He said, I don't want the Mickey Mouse music.
That's it. That's the title of the documentary that was made on him.
And you know the story of how he got the publishing to give me an ad.
I feel like I'm fixing to die.
Yeah.
Well, that's how he made a ton of money, because he gave Country on the Fish. It's an old folk song, or an old kind of not skiffle, but song. And Country Joe McDonald wrote the lyrics to that song. It's a traditional thing, but Chris gave the band money and gave them money to record some demos or some early singles.
They came to Chris and said, we need to record this. And he said, all I have is this field recording shit. And he goes, so what? They recorded it in his office. They said, we can't pay you. He said, fine, just give me the publishing. It got picked up in Woodstock.
Yep. Give me an
He made a fortune off of it. And then 5 years later, he gave it to Country Joe.
Yeah, he gave them some money and stuff, but he made millions, and that's how
he made his money.
It funded our Hooli Records and Down Home Music.
He gave it all from then on to Country Joe.
Yeah.
No one does that shit.
Right.
Nobody
He's
does
a good guy. Yeah, he's a good guy.
What?
And he
How
loves
am I? How am I supposed to be 100% today? Explain that to me.
Ivan is feeling it, man. Ivan is
What
feeling
now?
it.
Here, what's the difference? Now they're owned by the same people, right? Arhoolie and Folkways.
No, it's
Right?
Smithsonian he sold to Smithsonian about 25 years ago, 30 years ago.
Right.
Millennium
Would they competed with each other?
No,
then, right?
they're like a nonprofit, so they're not a normal record company like
No, well,
Columbia.
Folkways and Arhoolie, they competed with each other. No.
Well, they were different. I mean, you wouldn't call them competing in those days because they were so small in the record world, but it was important music.
They put out the same shit.
No, they didn't. Chris almost recorded almost everything they did. He actually sat in living rooms and backyards. It wasn't in studios. He recorded people like blues artists. His first record was, oh shit, what's the guy's name? I was going to say the Old Black Blues Player, but there's a million of them or a handful of them. Not John Hurt.
Chris would go into a town looking for a blues player, and he'd start asking around, and they'd say, yeah, he cuts hair now around the corner. And he would go find the guy, give him a guitar, and talk him into playing.
Well, that's why the joke in the Ruddles, where did the music start in the South? Next door, basically in the Ruddles, because I've been starving ever since. No, but he also got into Zydeco music and Tex-Mex. He's the one that turned Ry Cooder and Elvis Costello onto people like Flaco Jimenez and these other Tex-Mex and Tejana music.
Yeah, he was from Berkeley, so he would get in his car and do New Mexico and Texas.
Yeah, gospel music, religious, gospel stuff.
Hold on. Listen, all you people that dissect how much effort I'm putting into today's stream with a percentage, you're 100% morons. That's what you are.
I got to get that guy's name.
Hold on. Schnee's giving his 2 cents.
It's awfully early for Schnee, isn't it?
Oh, Mans Lipscomb.
Hold on. We got another person here. I'm sure he's going to give less than 20%.
Less than 20%.
PB Fall.
Good morning, Patrick.
Patrick,
So,
good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You're up
Yeah.
early.
You said we needed some help?
No, I woke up and I heard Mazzy say, "Could you get like a non-boomer thing on your cover of your magazine?" And yet, what's he fucking talking about? Boomer shit. Ry Cooder, fucking Country Joe and the Fish. It's like,
No, we're talking about roots music, actually.
yeah, okay, well, whatever. You're not talking about current shit.
But we're not selling a magazine. We're talking about certain record stores are tired, maybe, or he said a record store didn't want to do his record because he had a Grateful Dead and the Dodgers. The Dodgers right away would be.
Hey, I went to Mississippi Records and I was not impressed. I have not gone back. I've been to Portland three times afterwards. I've been to Portland 3 times afterwards. I have not set foot in that.
That's not your type of store. I get it.
No.
I understand that. It's not
too much new shit.
Well, it's actually not a lot of new shit. It's a lot of like world music, that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, that place did not impress me at all either. So I'm with you, Jim.
Yeah, I mean,
every record store doesn't have to be for everybody.
Isn't Portland have the most record stores? Am I wrong?
In my opinion, Portland has the most record stores per capita.
Yeah.
Per capita, it's got it.
You like Crossroads, right?
Crossroads.
I love Crossroads. Crossroads is like 20
Millennium?
record stores in one.
And you found stuff at Little Axe, even though that's tiny.
Little Axe is good.
The Little Axe is very curated too. Some people, it's a tiny store.
Little Axe had decent prices. I mean, they also had good prices. They had good, desirable stuff. So, I compare those stores are, like you said, well curated. But when I was in Nashville, I went to Grimey's, which is supposed to be like the store in Nashville. And other than the stuff they have on the wall, their bins have nothing. I mean, it's all a bunch of like, obscure $2, $3 bands,
Grimy old records.
Just Grimey's is what it's called, but it's supposed to be the store.
I was making
Where's in Nashville?
Nashville.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I mean, they have good stuff on the wall. That's
I thought they were going to close or something. Weren't they close or move? Or something?
Yeah, no, someone saved them. I distribute at Grimey's. I send papers there. It's a top record store in the country.
Yeah, it's not that good, but yeah.
It's not.
No, it's
Well,
not
I
good
think
at all.
It was owned. Who originally started it? Some
A musician.
Yeah.
I forgot. It was like a
famous dude.
yeah,
Well,
like
that's
a bluegrass guy or a country.
Was there anything?
If I go to a record store, I mean, even though I have that stuff, I would think that the record store should have like what I would call catalog stuff, like Led Zeppelin, Steely Dan, Kansas, that kind of stuff that, catalog stuff that you can pick up. That store has none of that stuff. It has just like third tier, power pop and, stuff that nobody wants. And they pretty much beat the shit too.
Think about this, Patrick. A store like Mississippi Records, they don't need to do that because they're a finite focus thing. When you have Millennium Music that has every new release and every catalog item, and there's like 20 other stores or 15 other stores that do that, you want to find your little niche, and they've done it. Also, they have a label, so that's part of their thing. Like, for instance, Jackpot Records. Jackpot has excellent reissues lately. Kevin Gray, all that stuff that the meters, all that stuff. I think that record store is terrible. I think Jackpot is one of the worst.
I haven't been there. I haven't been there yet. So
I mean, really? The bins are half empty half the time. They got, it's just not a good store. It looks cool. It's painted red and it's kind of hip, but there's no deep records. Even there's some catalog stuff and some dog-eared stuff. But the new release bin or the new used bin is okay. You might get lucky with something.
Second Avenue downtown. Second Avenue in Portland.
In Portland?
Yeah. You don't know them? Second Avenue?
I don't think I know that.
Forever.
I don't know.
Jim took me to a store in LA. It was small, but it was so well curated. It's like everything you look through was like desirable. And I was like going, wow, this is like, I bought like maybe 8 things there. I think I bought the most there than any place. It was a small store. And I remember he telling me like, well, I didn't think you'd buy that much there. But I mean, everything there was well curated and fairly priced.
What
and,
store
you didn't have
was that?
I can't remember the name of it. It was kind of small. I know it was on the right side of the street. It doesn't help, but I mean, they had like a. Jim was talking to him. He was behind the counter to the left, and there was like a VPI on the right where another guy was like trying to clean records. They had nothing. By the VPI was some more bins of like records, but yeah, it was nice.
Huh?
I don't remember who it was, but I remember like really liking it.
Oh. Could it have been Gimme Gimme?
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah. I think that was it. So
The
the new arrivals was on the right side by the counter, by the back of the store. It was the new arrivals is on the right side on the back of the store.
Yeah.
And then there was and the guy fills out a book. There's like a little book where he writes down what you bought.
Yeah. That's the guy. He doesn't chit chat.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't qualify as a chit chat guy. That's for sure.
He's not a chit chat.
You know who he chit chats with?
You.
Chit chats with me.
You're the king of chit chat. You can chit chat with anybody, dude. You probably chit chat with yourself in the mirror.
I'm a Sharon. I chit chat with what?
Chit chat with yourself in the mirror.
You talking to me? Who you talking?
I don't even need a mirror to chit chat with myself, sir.
I mean, that's just,
is that what you call it these days? Chit chatting with yourself?
Here's the deal.
Jim
does this thing. He goes, "Don't spend so much time here. We're leaving." And I go, "Okay, ready to go." And he gets to one of his marathon storytelling sessions.
Well, I remember the only time we dug together was we're in Sacramento in Folsom. We went to that record store, and Jim's like ready to go, and Rob's looking through records. And Jim's like going, "I'm giving my papers. Let's go, dude." Rob's like on the floor, like got records out. He's like going, "Hey, I'm in a record store. I'm digging."
Jim is this ultimate sales guy. You remind me, and now this is going to get this wrong when I describe it. I'll get in detail. Of a girlfriend I had once. My older girlfriend, 6 years older than me. She managed 3 artists back in the 70s. One was a jazz band called Mel Martin and Listen. Now, Mel Martin put out 2 records on Inner City Records, Irv Kratko's label. But he was known because he was a horn player, played on a lot of records, saxophone. He was in Boz Scaggs' in band for years. And anyway, Nancy, every once in a while, like once a month, they would play at the Keystone Corner, the famous jazz club. But there'd be a night where you didn't always have, Art Blakey or McCoy or Tyne or whatever. And she did the KSAN slot at San Francisco radio station from 10 to 2 a.m. Saturdays and Sundays. So sometimes after her show, every week after a show, sometimes if I was with her, we'd go to Keystone at 2:30 in the morning. They were still kind of around there. The guy who owned Keystone, to try to get money from like a month before. Here's another $20 this time. You know,
Right.
you're going to pay McCoy Tyner right away, but listen, and Mel Martin,
Oh.
she had to go every week and show up and get a little more money because jazz,
Yeah.
jazz clubs have no money.
Hey, hold on. So, Patrick, first, how does that sound compared
The
to other? Yeah.
Compared to the original, they really boosted up the treble a little bit, and the soundstage kind of shifted a little bit. But because I've recorded an original, but it sounds good. I mean, it's not bad. It's way better than any other reissue that I've heard. I'm not a fan of this new Rhino Fidelity inner sleeve. I think that's kind of
Well, that's
That's the pressing
there
part.
are those are
Fidelity pressing.
yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
record.
And
Literally, it says Fidelity pressing on the.
so this one is interesting. I mean, this one sounds good, but I don't know if it sounds $150
camera
better than
operator.
It's auto, man. It's an auto camera. It auto focuses. If I
So
move in,
wait, you're not happy with that one?
No, I didn't buy it. Someone sent it to me to record. But I mean, I've compared it because I recently did a Columbia Santa Maria Kendon, and which
Yeah.
sounds not quite. This is a little bit better. I admit it's better, but is it $100 better? I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? I'm leaning
Village Music. I bought
Yeah.
mine at Village Music.
all
Blue
the
Valley.
Steely Dan, most of the OGs you can get sound perfectly fine for me.
Yeah,
That's what
I mean.
I have.
So I wouldn't spend $150 on that. I mean, I wouldn't. After listening to them side by side, but that one is definitely a little bit better. Some songs are better than others compared to the OG for sure. But yeah,
Hey, look. Okay, I'm
Melinda
gonna
Murphy.
yes. Hello. Well, that's Loki. Hello, Melinda. How are you?
Good
Everyone's
morning,
maybe-
Melinda.
Now-
Much better highlighting Melinda than Loki, that's for sure.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Dude, get the stick out of your ass, dude. Be pleasant. Be nice. Thank you.
Good morning, Melinda. Nice to.
Oh, hold on.
speak to you.
So I got someone was mentioning this. So this is a Sun Ra record, which was probably one of the rarest Sun Ra records you could try and find because they say only 150 copies were made. Here's the original cover, which I don't understand why they just didn't do this cover in the back. And this was pressed at RTI with the new RTI's new clear sleeves, which are still lame. Just get the rice paper ones. And this is warped. I reached out to them. I got a warped copy. It's a tip-on Stoughton jacket. And this was put out by Sun Ra's estate. So they do have their own label and they do reissue. This record was recorded in 63. And then they put it out in 66 and sold it by mail order and at concerts. But they said only 150 were made. And this does sound very
Somebody
good.
actually time out Melinda. Someone.
No.
Hold on. What just happened? Now I have to go.
Auction Shield's upset that we don't say hi. We only say hi to people who have 5,000 or more subscribers.
I thought Patrick Sweden said Melinda's a wench.
What?
Melinda's fine.
yeah.
You know what? She's
She's
getting
a
a
wrench.
wrench. I'm wrenching Melinda, so you leave Melinda alone. Okay, thank you. Melinda's fine now. Okay,
I could
You
just
know.
see Bill K timing out Melinda.
so this is good. This is good. Sun Ra.
Eva, stop acting like you're dying.
And I started watching this Sun Ra piece on YouTube. It's like an hour-long kind of documentary thing. That dude was weird. But RTI, I kind of feel they prioritize records there. If they don't feel you're important, there's no quality control on the records. So they're warped or whatever.
So I have a bone to pick with Chad and Analog Productions because I tried to get that Bob Marley bundle and I sent in an email early and they responded. I responded back. They haven't responded back to me yet, and you can't call that subscriptions person. So
I cannot make
I'm,
comments when it
I'm
comes
so
to Chad Cassim. So
I'm
so
stoked
if I
Chad
don't get
Chad put Record Collector News on the publicity list now that he dropped Mazzy, I guess it's called Mazzy's.
yeah,
So
apparently he was.
RCN, we're getting every title mailed to us to review.
The rumor goes that he was
Free.
upset that I was on the PR list, but he didn't send the PR. I'm on the list from another separate PR company.
I'm brown nosing Chad so much. I've had my nose so far up his tuchus that I
Can
need
I-
a snorkel.
and that's a considerable nose to go up a tuchus.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
I
irony
need
is,
a snorkel just to breathe, and I'm proud of it.
You know what? Here's what Chad didn't do. He did not ingratiate. He did not see what the vinyl community could do for him. The good word of mouth, the good thing. He automatically does not connect with people. He rather put you down for saying his product's bad or there's some or
I
criticizing
never said his
it.
product's bad though. That's the thing.
You said the packaging was bad.
Yeah.
But I said big boxes of the UHQRs and the one steps, the MoFi. I used them both, the big boxes, but I always praise the actual records for the most part.
Okay, let me ask you a
Watch,
question. Matt.
watch
And
Prince
how
and Pete.
big
We've
are the
already gone
box-
over this 1,000
How big are the
times.
boxes now? Those wooden dowels are gone. They're thinner.
No, they're not.
Hey, here's
No,
the deal,
they're right
Mazzy.
there.
Well, that's because
Still
they're
there.
wait. That's because they're finishing up the Steely
Yeah.
Dan to make them consistent. But the new they're clamshells now. No more of that shit.
Hey, can I say? Let me ask you questions, Mazzy. How long? When? There's been at least 4 years where people see the value in you being able to talk about a record or something, right?
Sure.
Okay,
Some people,
but
yeah.
Chad hitched his wagons to one person who turned out to be
A retailer for him.
well, he turned out to be just full of hot air. Okay, let's say that.
Who could you be talking about?
Well, everyone knows what I'm talking about. So Mazzy, he doesn't see it seems ridiculous to me that he would alienate people that can help his label, his records, all of the stuff he does.
He doesn't need the VC to help his label records.
That's
Well,
the other thing I was just going to
Well,
say.
How much
Patrick.
money? What do you think his marketing budget is? It's nothing. He relies on the same people who buy his records. But I can tell you, he's sitting on warehouse full of records, right?
But whether you and I sit there and like praise him or trash him isn't really going to move the needle on him.
Right.
Well, actually,
Mazzy might a little bit, but not much. But
I
you
might
and me,
sell
Rob, are
10, 20, 50 records. Here's the thing.
that's not the big moving the
What's
needle, though. So,
interesting, okay, there are several PR firms that labels and artists hire, right? I'm on the list of 2 or 3 of them, and I think a lot of people, maybe Melinda is, I'm sure Melinda is too, labels like Elemental or Cooking Vinyl or Rhino will send different things to different things. But there's also a list that I get, like, here's a link to a new release. Can you cover this? I mean, it's not specifically just to me. It's their PR firms. That's their job to promote things, literally promote, like movies. Rob knows that, right? So the first time in the past 6 months, maybe, I've gotten 2 things from one of the bigger PR firms that are labels of that Chad, or records that Chad putting out. Now, it may be that it's not Chad. It may be like a combination with Universal or Atlantic or whoever else. So he's not initiating it. But nevertheless, I get stuff. I got that Marley PR thing a week before, okay? And I recorded something, and they put embargo dates. You can't talk about this. You can't divulge this until X date and time. And that's when I time my things. I've never broken an embargo. Turned out the night before, Fremer posted something on Track and Angle like 12 hours too early, and he ended up taking it down. So, sometimes people slip up for whatever reason or want to be first. And I did that. Now, I praise those 2 Marley albums that I have from before. I do a little thing because I don't like Clarity Vinyl. I don't like the boxes, but I love the records, and that's what I did. So,
Well, hold on, Mazzy. Here's the deal. You were accused of doing something you didn't do, really. But
Right.
but his way of dealing with it was kind of secondarily blasting you. So it went out like he said through like that phone call type of bullshit, where it got back to you that he was pissed off at you.
Well,
Here's what a normal person would do. He would reach out to you and say, "Did you do this?" And you can respond to him yes or no. But he doesn't do that. He is just he's the Archie Bunker of vinyl. That's who
Can I
Chad is.
tell my experience with Chad real quick? I mean, Chad has never given
Make it
record
short,
collector news.
please.
Chad has never given record collector news the time of day. He's never advertised. I've seen him at a lot of audio shows, though. He used to sell at the audio shows. He would man the table. And one time a guy started a paper called Record Times, and that guy gave everyone free ads. And I opened up Record Times, and Chad had a full page in this guy's piece of shit paper. And Chad saw me looking at it, and Chad ran over to tell me that he didn't pay for the ad. He wanted me to know that he didn't pay for the ad. That's the nicest thing Chad's ever done to me, is let me know that he didn't diss me by advertising in that.
Let me
the
explain
guy sold a lot of records, and he's into it he loves that music.
Yeah, he does. I appreciate that. He's helped vinyl continue. Him and Fremer are two of the main things. I think he does a great thing. He's not the greatest people person, but he puts out great records.
He's driven. He's
I love that about him. And I've never said it's a terrible record. I might not like one than another, but the thing that Rob was mentioning, let me explain it here.
Before you start, let me ask Melinda a question. Melinda, why do you want to buy the Led Zeppelin classic albums? What is motivating you to want to buy them? Just to check them out? Don't do it. If you want to have them just to collect, that's fine. But if you want the best sounding versions, they're not it. The best sounding one to me is probably like Physical Graffiti. Sorry. Answer the question.
Anyway, last week on Westman's stream, I wasn't on it, but I was in the peanut gallery, and they were talking, and it came up about big releases coming up. And I'm in the peanut gallery, and I'd gotten several. I said, yeah, there's a big release coming out Thursday. I didn't say the label. I didn't say Bob Marley. I didn't say Chad. And it turned out that was also the same day that he dropped those Marley records, because it was Marley's 80th birthday celebration with Tough Gone and the Marley Estate. It turned out that was the same day they dropped the record store list. So apparently, because we started talking about things coming out, but nobody ever said Chad Kassem. I never said Analog Productions. I never said Bob Marley. And apparently, but I did say I got a press release of someone. That's it. And apparently he was upset that I got a press release. So there we go.
Hey. Okay. So Craig's saying that in the licensing agreement, it stipulates how many promo copies can be given out.
25 promos is not true. It depends on the label, and it depends
hold on.
the
hold on. This is a man who's reissuing records, so he has some experience with it.
Well, that might be his agreement, but other agreements, I worked for ABC Records, and I would get, like Steely Dan, for instance. Okay, I myself, we had 7 people in our office in 1977, 78 in San Francisco, ABC Records. When Asia came out, or the greatest hits, I remember even more so. Remember the double greatest hits that Robert Ludwig cut, that 2-record set of Steely Dan that had Here at the Western World? I got 50 copies myself in my trunk to give out to record store people. Okay, I got 50 copies. One person in one city in one office. Each of us got a box or two. I was out there more than other people, and the salespeople, they were there. So, of course, that's back in the 70s. But it depends. I know, now that Joey Callio, they're putting a record store day. Now, that's very limited. That's Dada. I think they're getting less than 10 promos, a list or something like that to send out. Because that's a record today. They're only pressing 1,700 or 2,000. So it just depends. It depends on your deal. The same with record. Remember when the record clubs, artists would get a lot less or nothing on record club sales. that get a lesser percentage. So it really depends on the contract, the label. So it's not a blanket thing. Maybe you only get 25%. It might be a percentage of the run. That's probably true, Analog. I agree with that. It just depends. But if you're doing like the doors box, I didn't get a doors box. I paid for it, but I did get a ZZ Top box, and that was less. That was
Well, hey,
2,000
I have a
copies.
question. Out of all the doors, those reissues, does people say that one of them is better than the rest
Of which ones?
of the Rhino doors?
I like my weak link was that I thought Strange Days was a little too bright, but it was still good. I think I liked most of the Rhino better than the double 45s. I think the LA Woman, the double 45 is slightly better, but the Rhino is great. They're probably just different more than anything else.
I need a good copy of LA Woman.
Well, then get.
I might order the LA Woman and do a massive shootout because I have everything. I have everything doors related that I need except for those things. So let's see how really good those suckers
all
are.
mine are OGs, and I like all of them. But I think I need a
Yeah, the doors are available now. You can order them. They're out. All of them are out to order. I think people are getting them in already. So
are they being sold at regular record stores? Right?
they're going to, but they're not yet. I don't think. But
Here you go, Melinda. You want the best? Here you go. You can have.
He's giving that to you, Melinda.
Yeah, you want this white label promo of Led Zeppelin 2?
Is that a $500 record?
It's like a $3,000 record now.
It is?
Yeah. Allegedly.
Yeah, I need a good LA Woman. But I'm happy. Yeah, I'm like
Well, you've been trying for that since you moved to LA 30 years ago.
My experience is if a record sounds good, probably it was recorded well, right?
Yeah.
Like I just put together here.
Yes, that is Tim's white label promo, University of Vine. It's not my white label promo. I'm actually going to record it today. I was waiting for my new cartridge to break in before I recorded it, so I'm going to do it today. Along with this original Black Sabbath Paranoid with the Big Bear credits.
Here's my big stack of CCR. All these are OG Hollywood.
Hollywood?
Yeah. Yeah, they're all Hollywoods. And strangely enough, I know these were really popular records and they should be trashed. I seem to be do very well finding. You can find these in very good condition. These are all like mint. They're all
found some with shrink even.
And other than the Chad Kassem, like Steve Hoffman, Kevin Gray, absolute originals, those are as good as it gets.
Right. But these covers, like this one's still in the shrink.
You know what's really surprising with Creedence, Craft putting out that colored vinyl, because they could do what all analog thing without color vinyl and a box set of Creedence, and that would sell a shitload because you can't get those Steve Hoffman, Kevin Grays anymore. I have that box.
Actually, this one is the non-OG.
Yes, that's Tim's promo, Melinda. Yes,
this is a $20 Steve Hoffman, Kevin Gray.
If you do a search on Discogs, you can just search for like SHKG, and you can find all sorts of stuff that you didn't know was the secret DCC, like Van Halen 1, and there was like Saxophone Colossus you can get for like $20 that Steve Hoffman and Kevin Gray did.
Yeah, that one is actually. There's also the Tenor Madness. That's Steve Hoffman and Kevin.
So
Gray.
I think they did some OJC stuff too. I think they did some of that.
Those two OJCs are them.
Hey, Disco, they are doing them individually. They did the Doors individually. They start out with a box set, and then a month, 2 months later, they do individually. Usually they do. So you just have to wait.
Well, Cream the magazine was spelled CREEM, and Cream the band is CREAM.
Dave,
hey, in my auction this weekend, I have two of these CCRs that are clean, and they're whatever Fantasies version of Duraflex.
I heard a rumor you might have a John Coltrane version for sale.
Yes, I have a John Coltrane on Thursday. I'm going to do a short live stream where I'm going to show stuff that I have in the auction.
Hey, Dave, let me answer this. I bought this hat in 2005. I went to see the Cream reunion at the Royal
At the
Albert Hall,
Albert Hall.
the second show. And so I got a hat, which I never buy hats, but I bought a hat and I bought a poster, I think. Or no, I bought a tour book.
So did Jack Bruce have that little stool thing that he was sitting on to
No,
to
he
play?
was, when I saw he was standing, I think the second night. And the first two nights, I think it was Clapton had like a cold because it's got over the flu, which is unfortunate. Some people were upset because he was playing like with Blackie, I think, instead of an SG. So, and they were like playing everything about a quarter slower than they did like on Wheels of Fire. So
Yes. Hey, by the way, Rich, I do have some RVGs in the auction. Not OGs, but I have at least a bunch of RVG pressed records.
So speaking of the Grateful Dead, so Jim, you're the Grateful Dead guy, right?
Mazzy is, isn't he?
Oh.
I am
What's the
angry.
story? What's the story on this band? It's got like Billy Cobham. It's got Alphonse Johnson.
There
it's
were
got,
there were a lot of offshoots. Bob Weir had 2 or 3 different offshoots.
Well, hold
Yeah,
on. What's the deal with this band, Jim?
Okay. It's an offshoot Dead band. It's Bob.
Jim, you
Weir.
need to get off mute, Jim. That's the first thing you need to do.
Yeah, and Patrick needs to having porn
Bobby
band
Midnight.
camera work going on.
I'm a cameraman here, so yeah.
Yeah, it's a good record. I don't know if it's 100%. I haven't listened to it in a long time. I have it. Bobby and the Midnight.
I bought it because it had Billy Cobham on it. So I was like,
Novice Nick, I don't buy hats at shows. I don't buy band hats.
I was like, going Billy Cobham with the Grateful Dead. What could go wrong?
Now we're having 3 streams going on right now.
What's wrong with that?
Can the Peanut Gallery do me a favor? Do not direct any questions to Matt.
I want to talk about Record Store Day, the Warren Zevon, 3 records. One of them's a double record. 2 of them were never on vinyl. Mr. Bad Example did come out on vinyl, I believe, but The Mutineer and Learning to Flinch never on vinyl. Learning to Flinch is a favorite of mine. Some people don't like it. It's a live record where he's playing a lot of 12-string intense guitar, and it's great. And I'm excited about those 2. So 1 out of the 3 have been out on vinyl. The other 2, it was Giant Records. That's the name of the record company. I think it's either a part of Warner's or Capitol. I can't remember who put out Giant Records, Patrick. In the 90s.
I remember. Okay,
yeah. It was. I think the guy who started Giant Records became the president of Capitol Records later. That's what it was, and managed Warren Zevon. This isn't on. Sentimental Hygiene was a virgin. That's not this.
I don't think anyone's talked about this. I think Sony Japan put out 3 Jeff Beck titles. They're the later Jeff Beck stuff, and these came out probably 2 weeks ago. And I didn't get the third one because they sold out. But these are really well done. They're later, it's the first time ever on vinyl, but only done in Japan. Sony Japan was the only one that did it, and they're really cheap. But I got 2 of the 3, and these sound pretty good. So I haven't heard anybody talk about these, and I'm a big Jeff Beck guy.
Is that the band he was playing with a lot?
Yeah.
With that
towards later on the career. Yes. Yeah. I think this. Yeah, Tal Luckenfield. I think she's on here. But yeah, these sound great. Yeah. But I haven't heard anybody talk about them.
Well, from what I'm seeing, Sony Japan is really cranking out a lot of stuff. They're doing for the jazz, what is that famous Japanese jazz label, Mazzy, that you hated?
Well, that Japanese press is the only game in town, so I don't have a choice.
You're talking about the 3 Blind Mice?
Yeah, they're putting out a lot of 3 Blind Mice
music. Well, the thing, I think Patrick might agree. Usually Japanese pressings are good. It's the mastering and the tape whatever are bad. Because those Beatle records are horrible, but they're pressed.
They're quiet. Yeah, they can press a record. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, those Jeff Beck titles, it's the only way you're going to get them is in Japan. So if you want them, you can't hold out for a US or a UK because they don't exist. I just saw the Becoming Led Zeppelin movie, and it was excellent. I mean, the sound was great. I was right in the middle of the theater.
It was
really good.
Did you see it in IMAX?
I did. But the only thing I would say is I wanted more of the interview stuff instead of seeing a 15-minute version of Days of Confused. So I'm like I'd rather hear them, talk. The best part about it was when they unearthed a John Bonham interview, and none of the guys apparently had heard it, and you literally see them hearing John Bonham talk about them and their experiences for the first time, and the reaction on their faces. You could see, these mega stars actually get touched, and so it was interesting. I highly recommend it. I would definitely go, but go see it in a nice theater because the sound it has to be experienced.
I'm going to see it IMAX tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
4:00, I think.
Do you want to
Yeah,
go
so
see it?
I didn't get a poster, but apparently they were giving out posters. I didn't get a poster. But there's some early stuff with Jimmy Page that's really interesting. But I mean, I'm not a hardcore Zet. I'm a hardcore Zet fan. I'm not a hardcore go see all the live footage, dig out all the little ins and outs like a hardcore guy was. So I hadn't seen a lot of that footage. But apparently people are like going, that stuff was out there. I'm like going, well, I hadn't seen it, so to me it was cool.
This is Vance's little blurb review.
Yeah. See, that's what I mean. Someone like Vance, who's like a hardcore Zep guy, he's like, that footage I've seen before. Whereas like someone like me, I had not seen it.
But if you're doing a thing like that, so what? You're going to see the footage. You can't include stuff just because the freaks. I used to hate when Beatle fans say, "Well, we've heard all this stuff before." Well, most people, or Dylan, we've heard this stuff before. Well, come on. You're putting a box together based on a certain album or a certain series. Of course, you're going to have stuff that the freaks have heard before. But on those Dylan bootleg series, most people haven't heard them all, and and there's always something that's going to be left off that the band doesn't want or something. So I'm looking forward to it.
But I really, so I said it's an over 2-hour movie, and if there's a 2-hour movie and I don't look at my watch once, it did its job. I didn't look at my watch once. I did not look at my watch once. I wasn't ready to go.
Is there a lot of Peter Grant in there?
No, actually not a lot. And they actually, I mean, they don't even like reference how much of a badass Peter Grant is.
That's why I want to see an IMAX, because he's big enough that you want to see him on the big screen.
Oh, he's a large man. I mean, I don't know what they could have done to make him look better because he doesn't look good no matter what. So, I mean, he's got his chin has chins. So, but yeah,
no fat shaming on the live stream, please.
There was an interesting.
I'm just talking of the fact. The guy is a very physically large and persona large too.
There's an interesting part where they talk about how they made the album before they even had a record deal. So because we were talking on my live stream about why didn't they film it? Well, they weren't even a signed band when they made the record. They didn't even have a record deal.
Right. I don't think Chicago carries your RCN, do they, Jim?
I send it to Dusty Groove.
You should send it to Bucket of Blood.
Bucket of Blood, huh?
Yeah.
I used to send it to what's his name? The guy from the label Delmark. He had a store. Bob.
What was the name of the store?
It's not fat shaming.
I think it was called Bob's Jazz, House of Jazz, or something.
Hey,
he's a large man. I mean, he's a big dude.
He's just large. I mean, and he uses his largeness for effect.
And I don't think Peter Grant is here, so we're not fat shaming anybody who's even here. So
Hey, let's talk about dead fat people. Hey,
okay,
Shelley Winters.
He's not dead. He's not fat anymore. Let me put it that way. He lost a lot of weight. He's lost a lot of weight.
Are we talking Shelley Unidexter or two-legged?
Hey, Danny G, the easiest way to get a copy of the paper is get something in my auction this weekend. I send a copy with every order.
Yeah, Bill Cotfield. That was weird to see like those kids like sitting down like Indian style, like 5 feet from Led Zeppelin. They were called the New Yardbirds back then. But there's like all these kids, and there was like families at like some sort of like high school thing. Like there's like families with babies, and Led Zeppelin's playing fucking Good Times, Bad Times. It's like people are like going, what the fuck am I listening to? But yeah.
Yeah, Jazz Record Mart. That was a great place, man. I saw Bob Coster in there, 90 years old, cleaning records.
Where's that store at? Where was it?
In Chicago. Bob Coster was the founder of Delmark Records,
Okay.
Who's that douchebag you took me to in fucking LA, man? That guy who wouldn't price his records, and I had to go fucking have some.
Come on. That's
What a
the best.
douche.
Which
Best record
place is
store in
that?
town.
Which
That
one?
was the record collector,
Is that
Sandy.
Oh
Melrose?
man,
Is that Melrose?
I mean, Jim made me like overpay for a cheesy Brinsley Schwartz record. I was like, "Oh no, God, I can't just walk out of here now and tell him his prices are fucked," you know. So I ended up like paying twice what I should have for this record.
Are you going to do a
Just be
special pub rock episode one night?
Pub rock, I like pub rock.
Yeah. Okay. I like Brinsley Schwartz.
I like it too, but I should have paid $30 for it.
No.
It's
Is the
true.
which cover is it? The
It had a red cover. I
red,
still have
is
it.
it one with the star?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
That's the best of like the collection. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that was a weird. That's
a
probably
commie.
the weirdest record
Commie.
store I've ever been to. Weirdest
That's a
record
commie
store I've
with
ever been
cover.
to.
Which one?
That one. It was the record
record
collector. That was the
collector.
weirdest store I've ever been into. The guy'd rather talk about himself and what he hates about people buying records than selling records. Like, it's like, and then I had to go in the back. Had some guy who's on the spectrum take me to the back,
Igor.
and like,
Igor take me to the back.
The
Yeah.
old
Don't-
guy who
don't
climbs up the ladder
spectrums.
and is going to fall
No
off.
spectrum
no,
shape.
they let me to go. They let me climb the ladder. I was like, dude, let me
Hey.
climb up that, okay?
Hey, Jim, what's the
Yeah.
what's the story going on with him selling the place?
I think that was mostly PR.
Does he own the
Yeah.
building?
Yes, he does. He owns
Oh,
the
well, there
building.
you
It's a great store. He has 200,000 records on site.
But he didn't have that much cool stuff. Actually, he really doesn't. Not that I saw.
Well,
I mean,
No, it goes on forever. He doesn't want to sell the shit that he has. What can I tell you? He owns property in Los Angeles.
he's one of those people that just likes to talk about his records and show you
And-
what kind of cool shit he has. You know.
And
that's what I
you
do,
see his
Pastor.
stereo?
What's the problem?
You just- remember the stereo he had, those JBL
Yeah.
1950. He just likes to sit in his store and wait for someone worthy to come in.
Patrick, you literally describe every other person or every person in the vinyl community. They just want to sit around and talk of the cool records in their collection. That's it.
Yeah, but they don't have a record store. They're not trying to. Well,
I know,
actually,
I'm
Rob and I have a record store basically. But
That guy's got an anti-record store.
Yeah.
When I was younger and I had hair down to my ass, he wouldn't even let me in the fucking store. Literally, I would.
I see people like him at record shows all the time. I see people that lug in the same records every show, and they've had the same records for 10 years. They never lower their prices. Sometimes they raise their prices. I'm like, you didn't sell that shit at $8. What makes you think you're going to sell it at 15, 10 years later? So,
Right.
so it's like they just want to throw it in there, and just want to roll it in there and show people the cool records they have. They don't want to sell them. They just want to talk about them. Then they lug them back into their car.
He used to brag
No,
about how
I haven't sold it yet. I ran out of time to sell that.
Is Tom Rashawn still here? Let's
Probably not if he's smart.
how is Tom?
Wake up, Tom. I know you were there and you got upset that we didn't acknowledge you when we were fawning over Melinda Murphy. So Tom Rashawn, good morning.
How is
Well,
Tom?
he's going to lose. He's going to lose that battle every time.
My brother is going to give me the Altadena tour this week.
Oh,
We're going to drive through.
I think I could do that. Well, you
wants
probably
me to
know
do
it. You know it better than I do. Yeah.
Are you going to go to the Portland show in a couple of weeks, Pansy? It's like that show that's like outside of Portland. So
I didn't even know about it. It depends what, I'm at a point right now. I'm not kind of in the buying mode, but I'd go down to see some people. So
yeah, Harry's selling
me-
there, I think.
shoot me a date, shoot me a time. I don't even know. I haven't looked.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
How's that
that.
Lake City show? That's a good show up in Seattle.
That's okay. That's good. That I forgot when that is, and then
It's coming up in May, I think.
yeah, it's gotten it's good. It's tight because they moved a few years ago to a smaller what's the club? Not Kiwanis is the other one.
Oh yeah.
Elks Lodge.
Elks Lodge, yes.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's got a restaurant bar there.
Here, Harry's at March 8th in Longview, Washington. Excuse me.
Where the fuck is Longview, Washington?
Hey, Jim, what's going on with the dude who wants to do the record show in LA? Have you heard from that?
That
guy?
is on hiatus right now. That guy put everything on hold.
Okay, here, Tom.
I ain't driving 2 hours and 5 minutes to a record show.
Hey, Tom, can you do me a favor?
I'm coming from Portland. It's only 40 minutes.
If any of your friends are having GoFundMes, can you send me a link to those, please?
Unless
People
I can
are
get
asking-
Kimbo. Maybe
People
a
are
Kimbo.
asking me for links because they feel they want to contribute. Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
Breakfast King of Loyola, I think we should address that because
What's
that
the
is
question?
no, he's just saying contact high from the body odor. It's
Oh.
a thing.
You know what I don't like, and I brought this up as a subject. I think in a Record Collector News article, is the
course.
BO that's so bad it gets into your mouth, and now your mouth tastes like their BO. Ugh.
It's too early.
You know,
for that.
I see a lot more women and younger kids at record shows now than I ever did. I went to
Yeah.
one a couple weeks
Oh,
ago.
yeah.
I was
Awesome.
shocked. I saw kids. I saw like kids in like wearing the heavy metal jackets with the patches, like tank patches. You know, bands like that. I was like going, what the hell? It was like surreal almost. It was like 40% of them were like kids under 20. At least 40% of the people there. It was crazy. I was
Really?
like going, wow, yeah,
I don't see that.
I do.
Hello,
I
Dr.
see it
Robert.
too.
Hey, Doc.
Hey guys.
I find the heavier the BO, sometimes the better the digging.
But they never get out.
Effort is it
What
to
are you,
just
crazy?
sprinkle deodorant under your armpits?
I missed the context there, but I think I'm glad I did.
Yeah, sorry I left this the thread yesterday. I just couldn't handle the stories. I'm going.
Breakfast King of Loyola started something.
You know, I'm
So
out of
is there a way to leave Mazzy's stories sometimes when you can't handle them anymore? Because that would be a nice thing.
You should.
But I don't want to leave the stream. I just want to leave your story.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Fair
the
enough.
thing. It's like I don't feel I should be punished. You know.
So, okay, so you'd rather have his stories of operating on someone's
No.
fault?
Let me
That's
clarify
what I'm
here.
talking about.
I would much rather have Mazzy's stories than
That's
the
what I'm
pe-
talking about.
people getting disemboweled.
It's not
on
a
the operating table,
competition.
so.
I had
But
I had 2 colonoscopies in November, Doc. 2.
Yeah.
two?
Yeah, but
Two.
you know what? Because
2.
I
yeah,
get
One
two.
on
only
each
reason
end or
you had-
what?
I
The only
liked
reason-
it so much.
yes.
Yeah.
right.
because
I
you're
did.
not
Harvey,
so-
you're that hungry for attention, Jim.
That's
that you
that's
actually ordered
stereo,
an
Jim.
extra
It's called
colonoscopy?
he,
stereo.
took,
It was
he
the
thought he was
propofol.
helping.
It was the
Jim
propofol.
thought the solution that they make you drink, he needed to take other stuff, and then they said, "Well, you ruined the whole thing."
How could you fuck up a colonoscopy?
Jim fucked up his colonoscopy.
Were you
Yes,
just getting
I did.
high or?
Did you blink?
you-
What did you
No.
do?
I clenched.
I
No.
realize I realize the last 5 seconds before you pass out is a great high and a great buzz, but that's only 5 seconds worth of a high. to
Oh
go
no,
through
no, no,
that
no!
is
I was for the second one. I was away. So okay, everyone. Here's something, kids. When you have a colonoscopy, don't help them out. Don't go with a high fiber diet the week before. Go with a low fiber diet the week before because the fiber stays there. I thought I was doing a good job helping with the goddamn fiber, and they said, "Nah, get out of here, kid. Come back in a month." So I had to do it 3 weeks later. No fiber.
only you would fuck.
Yeah, I do this so that you don't have to. Now, I did, in fact, and the doctor will appreciate this. I did get a standing ovation at the end of my colonoscopy because the second one, but yeah,
That was
2
even
of them.
though your
So
attitude
you
so-
literally got a golf clap when you finished your colonoscopy because you're such
Yeah,
a dork. You
yeah,
fucked
well
up the
done.
other one.
And it's
Oh.
and it's actually a decent tuchus to begin with. So
Oh, really? So you've had people comment. You
You
know,
know what?
you've had you'd have other doctors going. You know,
No,
I see a lot of asses, dude, but yours is pretty good, Jim.
actually,
What objective evidence can you offer?
for a
Yeah,
70-year-old,
Jim goes sees the Wait a second. You're
most of the time
hey,
my colonoscopy.
Bobby Gas. You're not in it. The links change for everything. So you need a new a
He
link.
needs a face link.
Bobby's in last week's stream.
Hold on, Jim. The only reason they applauded is your doctor's also an amateur magician, and he kept pulling like handkerchiefs out of your butt.
Pulling the ribbons.
He kept
You know
pulling
that
it
joke,
like
don't you?
an endless handkerchief.
You know that joke, don't you? The guy.
No, no one knows
The
the
guy-
joke.
The guy has a thing for his proctologist, and he goes to see him, and he says, "I think there's something going on, Doc." He's got his hand a little farther, go a little farther. Doctor goes, what the hell is this? He pulls out a dozen roses. He goes, what
Oh.
the hell's a dozen roses doing up your ass? The guy goes, never mind that. Read the card.
Oh man, that's a Harry level joke right there.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, that is
Better
sorry.
than
Harry.
Harry's jokes.
That's a Harry
Every
joke.
doctor.
Hey,
every
hold
doc-
on. Tom, where do you keep it? In a freezer?
Oh, that's bad. Oh man. Oof.
Yeah,
A
right.
lot of-
Well, every doctor has at least one story about somebody coming in with like a little doll stuck up their butt. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Um,
All
Crowbar
right,
has a story
we
about
should
a
we should
doll.
end that right now.
Yeah.
I won't go into detail.
doctor stories. We're at that age.
Why you here
Wow,
to support
wow,
Dr.
fucking
Robert
like
T.
like
Records
like
show?
like Mazzy just gave Dr. Robert the Melody treatment and bailed.
Wow.
He'll be back, I hope.
No, we
Is
got
this
Bobby
Bobby?
instead.
Bobby Gas.
Bobby
brother.
Gas, did you click on an old link from another stream?
Well, yeah, I thought it was like Rachel's. Rachel said, "You give me a link that you can just hit any old goddamn time."
So Jim, now that you smoked with Harry, now your next goal should be to smoke pot with Bobby Gas. That should be
Yeah, I
the
wanna
next
do
goal
that.
is
I'm
to get
dying to
high
do
with
that.
Bobby Gas. So
I want to smoke some of Bobby's weed too. I'll bet you that's
Oh
what
yeah, I want to smoke some of a couple of guys. Two guys I like to smoke with is Snoop Dogg and the country guy. What the hell's his name?
Willie Nelson,
Willie Nelson. Yeah, Willie
Oh, yeah.
Nelson.
country guy. Yeah.
Willie doesn't smoke
I hear
anymore. He
guys
just
that
does
smoke.
other stuff.
Even Snoop Dogg said that Willie's pot's pretty good, right?
Wow. Very
He's a heavy
nice.
user. I mean, he smokes all day, every day, right? Same as me.
I do too. Sorry. You know who else smoked every day, all day?
Who?
What was the shit? See, I smoke too much. the nuclear scientist used to be on TV all the time.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Not but way before him.
Sagan?
Oh,
Yeah,
Carl-
Sagan. Carl Sagan. Carl Sagan is quoted as saying he would never consider speaking in public without getting high first.
Well, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't smoke if I'm going to any kind of a special meeting, doctors or, something that I got to think straight. I don't smoke pot.
I don't smoke in the car. I don't smoke around the car. I don't
Mhm.
smoke and drive. It's in fun.
Hail Asclepius, son of Apollo. Hail Asclepius.
Sorry, Doc, I pushed the wrong button. I meant to just go.
Do you know who Asclepius is?
Who's a
Dr.
speaker?
Hart?
I don't know who that is.
He's the Greek god of medicine, son of Apollo. I thought you'd know that.
What's the
I
name?
thought that was like HIPAA, whatever his name is.
Asclepius, Asclepius.
No, I've never heard that name.
Well,
Is that the Greek or the Roman?
no, Greek. Greek mythology is before Roman mythology.
Yeah, I used to have that Edith Hamilton book. I used to like read it all the time when I was a kid.
I studied all three of them: the Greek mythology, the Roman mythology, and the Viking stuff. Right?
The Greek
Oh, wow.
mythology was my favorite.
Well, that's where. Well, actually, it mostly all come from Assyria. All of the Greek mythology.
Zeus,
Assyria.
Hera.
There's enough of the history lessons.
Don't send Harry a link, by God. Oh shit.
You know what, Harry? I did send you a link. It's in the chat we're all on.
Yeah, there's one from yesterday, man.
Yeah, go in there,
It's just
Harry.
you have all that doctor shit after it. That's why.
Is this another thread that I'm not a part of?
You don't want to be part of this thread, Pat.
Buried beneath some stuff you don't want to.
It wasn't just your story, Doc. It was Jim's disgusting stories about his asshole too.
I kept it clean as a whistle.
You didn't send any polyp pictures with that, Jim, afterwards, or no?
No. And I want everyone to know that I was awake.
Scroll up, Harry.
I
God,
prefer
you
to
old
stay awake.
people can't figure this shit out. I can't believe it.
I watched
What was
everything
that?
on TV.
I'm not watching that shit. Knock me out. Let me get that 5 seconds of like
Yeah.
fucking heroin pain.
Yeah, I
heroin
want to
joy.
wake up to going,
I don't do well with
we lanced your polyps.
I don't do well with drugs, man. I woke up from a colonoscopy
What
once.
do you mean you don't do well? You do drugs every day.
I maybe that's the problem.
Not some drugs. So
I
good.
woke up from a colonoscopy puking once, and I had like morphine ache in my back the next day. You ever heard of that?
No.
My back was hurting from the drugs they gave me.
Get another doctor.
Did they give you a spine block or something? They
Yeah,
give you
you
a
and
spinal block?
You and RFK.
I don't know.
It
The
might
guy
be
actually
a
called
lot.
me and said, I had to give you a lot. And he accused me of being a heroin
Get
addict.
another doctor. I didn't have this out here. Gotta use a microphone, Bob.
This is why we can't get young people into the hobby.
Exactly.
I think
It's
it's
so Riz.
we're kind of ostracized by our young colleagues too. I think that's
Oh man, I got Mark on my show. Mark makes records. He's got a recording studio at his house. He's got all this shit. He can't figure out how to use a fucking microphone on fucking YouTube. I'm like going, dude, you like make records. You have a studio in your house. You can't hook up a microphone to a computer.
Hey, Patrick, remember that stream that you and I were on, Rachel's, when for like it took 5 to 10 minutes for Chad to get on. That's why he was all upset, because he was talking about Bill Evans and he was all frustrated.
Oh, and he couldn't get on. Yeah, that was a tough day, man.
That was Too bad that whole thing is got deleted, because that was something that was
Did it
amazing.
get deleted? Too bad.
Well, so there's snippets of it around,
If
but I don't
anyone
think
has that
that whole
snippet,
thing.
I had that snippet for a long time, and somehow it deleted it by mistake.
I mean, the whole thing with Chad was great. He even yelled at me for asking him if he was going to do Street Survivors by Leonard Skinner. He got mad at me for asking that question. I'm like, well, you did all the rest of them, dude. Why don't you finish it? Just do the last one, you know?
It's not always that easy, as you know,
but you don't
He
have
was
to get
not-
mad at me.
He was not
But
prepared
that's
for you.
the people. The problem with associating with people.
Yeah.
You know, there is a Hoffman stream going on.
as it-
All of a sudden, it seems like in the last
Look at all
month-
these posts I got to go through to try to find that link.
So you do it.
guys-
You do it.
because
do
you
it.
guys sit there and talk about
I did
I
it.
scroll-
Delete some of
oh,
them.
shit. And look at all these posts. that I
Harry,
gotta
that's
go
how
through to
I
try to
found
find
it.
that.
That's how
There's
I
a lot of
found it.
poo-poo
You
jokes.
know, phone's got a delete button on it,
God.
Harry.
Harry, that's how I sent it to
Things
you.
were going so well
Scrolled
until
up a
Harry
little
and
bit
Bobby
and
showed up.
copied.
Well,
So have you guys already discussed Vince Neal's plane in Scottsdale?
No.
it
No,
crashed,
Well, that
but he
plane
wasn't
that
he
the
wasn't
plane
in-
that crashed in Scottsdale was owned by Vince Neal from Motley Crue.
Oh,
Was he
But
on
he
it?
wasn't in
Killed
it.
one person, but I don't think he was on it. He
He
owned
was
the plane.
not in it. He was not in it. Let's not start.
If he
into-
was on the plane, Mazzy would have sent us a notice about him dying.
I don't even. Yeah, I've never heard one of their records.
Yes, you have.
Girls, girls, girls. Didn't they do girls,
There's no
girls,
way.
girls?
I'm
Mark,
sorry.
you don't know how to use a camera.
Come
and
on,
a
man.
microphone.
They
You
play
had-
it in all
you
the
had
strip
problems with
strip
Chrome. You know
clubs.
you did. It was funny.
we've had like a epidemic of plane crashes here lately. It seems like.
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
Hoffman-
What's this Hoffman stream you're trying to talk
this
about
kind of
before
stuff
Harry started
happens a
yelling?
lot. You just
Well-
don't hear about it, but now it's being pushed.
There's
Small planes.
I don't know if
Last-
it's since the Marley announcement, but there's really a backlash, and also since Kevin Gray interview and Steve Hoffman interview, backlash against Clarity Vinyl dumping
They
on
should be. They should be.
and even to some extent double 45s. It's a waste. You know, because what Hoffman said on the people said, well, everyone used to say how great your double 45 Fleetwood Mac is. He gives, yeah, but it's basically what 2-3 dBs up. That's all we did. We didn't do anything different. Yes, there's physics of 45 and stuff, but turn your 33 up and you'll get it. Of course, at the end of a side, sometimes you have issues of that kind of thing. He agreed with that, but he said, really, you're not going to get that much different on a double 45 expect. So this whole thing with the boxes and the Clarity Vinyl about how it's, quote, I hate to use the word cash grab, but it's like sticking it to the collectors.
Is that the Atlantic 45? I haven't gotten mine yet.
So I'm wondering how this is going to compare to this one that came out earlier, because this one's pretty damn good.
Who
But
put out
this
that?
is a 45 RPM two record set, so we'll see.
I'm telling you, man, those Atlantic 75s, other than the Bad Company self-titled, all of them have been winners, have been like absolute stunners. So.
Hold on. This is the big deal. Nicole, aren't you a collector of all of them? Don't you have all of the UHQRs?
I have the two Marleys, which are excellent, actually.
Exodus isn't that excellent.
Can someone just put out a good, nice copy of Legend, please. That's all I want.
You
All I
know,
want
but
is a good
some of
copy
the
Legend.
collectors,
I want the expanded. I want the expanded
collectors-
live. So that's what I
Right.
want.
the collectors will be pissed because the next Marleys won't have the wooden dowel on it, like all the Steely Dans or the first two. People want them to look good on the shelf.
I could care less.
Yeah.
I know. I agree.
I don't care what they look like. They want to sound good to me, man. That's what,
yeah.
I mean,
Well, Chad's records do sound good for the most part. I'm not.
But
nothing-
do they sound $125
No.
better than the
no,
than
absolutely not. No.
So that's the thing. You know, if there's something that sounds bad that needs to be repressed, then that's another story.
Russell, this is not a waste of money.
No, it's not. I have
This
that
was
record. too.
fantastic.
It's unbelievable.
But
What
then
if-
again, you have Uncle Meat,
This
Jim.
is
You don't
the-
think that's a
It's
waste? So.
Gilberto.
That's true.
Yeah, but you know, the
Which one?
one Chad,
There's-
the one Chad did for the Atlantic one, all analog one, is great. So I still think you don't need to pay another $100+ for that.
Oh, there you go.
No, I mean, but if you didn't have this already, the Impex is the way.
Yeah,
to
but
go.
why do you need the box too?
Why do you need the jacket?
Well, you need to hold the record, to protect the record.
Well, you need the box to hold the jacket to
no,
protect
you
it.
don't.
And the book.
Look behind you. How many like a box is good for multiple copies, multiple records. That's
Hold
what
on.
boxes are good for.
Hold on,
See,
Dr. Robert.
so Dr. Robert has an album that could use a reissue because those are expensive. Those are hard to find. So do a nice all analog reissue of the Saints.
Yeah.
There you go.
I've had a few kind of grails come into my hands lately. These were a couple. These guys are so good.
You can't
Um,
find those records.
I know, right? And they were all over when I was in college. I could have bought them, and I
Yeah.
just
It's
didn't
like
know
all
what
of us. Yeah.
to do them. Yeah.
That's like the Radio Birdman, the same way.
I just came to a
Algie
realization about
Ward
Doc-
went on to be in Tank, a metal band.
just came to a realization about Dr. Robert and his little labels.
Here's
think it
another
comes-
Impex.
I think it comes from when you had to write on people's charts.
Well,
No,
it could be. I say it's a little probably an OCD. Definitely, it's OCD. You don't even know the half of it. I've gone down because I used to use all different sizes of labels. Now I've gone through my whole fucking collection and torn off all of the labels that are not the same size as the ones I use now.
I
And
use
replace-
these.
You like that?
That's fucking weird.
Yeah, there you go. So this
Here's
is
an Impex record I highly recommend.
all right.
Surf
Barefoot
music.
Huh?
Surf
Bud
music.
Shank. Bud Shank. You don't know this record?
I'm not going to show any albums.
Bud Shank, Barefoot Adventure. Impex reissued it. I have an OG of it that I love, Pacific Jazz. This is better. Nobody knows this record.
no. Well, I don't agree. I found a mono copy of that record, and again, it goes along with. It's an excellent recording. That mono version of that record sounds awesome. Hey,
If
by
you
the
can't
way,
find a
guys,
mono,
if
I
anyone-
highly recommend this.
hey guys, today I don't know why they're
Guys, we
getting
have a
Michael-
woman in the
Hold
peanut
on.
gallery, a
So-
few of them.
Hold on. So they're relaunching the Strata East label, and they're doing a free panel discussion
Oh,
with special guest Michael Fremer. What the fuck is he doing there?
He's usually a
That's right.
host. He's
But it's at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m.
Alone.
Pacific. So you get to hear what's going to happen with the reissues and where they get the tapes, because that label was known for giving the artists all the tapes. So today at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6
on
p.m.
whose channel? On Fremer's channel?
No, it's a Zoom. You sign up for the Zoom. I'll put a link in the
Zoom,
chat.
Zoom. I was on
Yeah,
Zoom.
they're the star of Zoom, Patrick.
Me.
You know,
Here's
I
the
go. You know, in the evenings, I partake in a little herbal refreshment, and I'll go on social media, and they're old clips of Zoom.
Are you looking
And
for
then
me?
I'll go, man, those guys are like 65 years old now. That's what I say to myself.
I see my episode and I sit there and I hear my voice. I'm like going, I had a way bigger Southern accent back then now.
Oh, really?
Can't
Oh,
read
yeah.
it, Bobby. Who is that?
Hendrix.
Never heard of him.
Fuckface.
Nona? Is it Nona?
That's a good
Rickshaw.
one.
What the hell is that?
You guys don't know this stuff. Does
don't-
anybody?
Nobody knows that.
No. Well, yeah, they know it. Some
Well, I'll
do.
tell you what, once we take over Canada, we're going to know all those records.
That ain't never gonna happen.
Angry
Okay, Bobby.
Moon-
Bobby, I can top you. I have Fitness Fun by Romper Room. So that beats anything you just showed. Anybody, this is better than the white label promo Led Zeppelin 2 I showed.
Okay, do you know the Romper Room?
That zoom effect doesn't work for me.
I used to crash at a buddy's place back, back in the 70s. He lived with his sister, and she had a kid who was about 5 years old. And he would wake up, I'd be sleeping on the couch. He'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and right goes to the TV, on would go Romper Room.
Oh, yeah.
Because the kid liked me, he had, he'd want to play with me kind of, and he had a little garage there, a plastic garage thing with cars and everything, and it had a bell on it that he would keep hitting all the time to wake me up. So I broke the guy's bell. I broke the kid's
My
bell.
dog does
I didn't
that.
break it. I just, stuffed some stuff in there so he couldn't ring it anymore. And when his mom found out in the morning, she laughed her head off. But this kid, every single solitary morning, would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm drinking with my buddy till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So I only got an hour and a half worth of sleep, right? And the kid would be up waking, the kid liked me.
Bobby, I raised 5 fucking kids, man.
Oh, but I feel sorry for you.
Was that from 6 different wives?
3
3. I thought I
Well,
had
over the
the
course of-
multiplication wrong.
over the
Hey,
course of like
Jim, you're
35
supposed to
years
say you raised 5 fucking kids that you know of.
that I know. Well, I raised.
Well,
There could be
they
others.
weren't even all yours, were they?
Turns out one of them wasn't, but
Yeah.
thanks to
I hate it
DNA.
when that happens.
But there's a lot of Romper Room going on. There's a lot of 5 o'clock in the morning.
And you were having your own fun with Mr. Mirror, weren't you? So you were having your own kind of fun with Mr. Mirror.
I was no, well, back in those days, cocaine was not
Your second
addictive.
mirror joke with Jim today.
In the 70s.
Dr. Sigmund Freud in 1904, I think it was, 1902, something like that, when the United States USA, the United States Pharmaceutical Society, or whatever the fuck it
Not
was,
pharmaceutical. That's
they doubled the price of
Look at my
cocaine.
cuticles.
They doubled the price of cocaine, and Sigmund Freud wrote a nasty, nasty letter, and they doubled the price from 1 cent, 1 penny an ounce to 2 cents an ounce.
Well, they put 100% tariff.
That's inflation.
If you want to know what I used to cut the cocaine on, seriously, it was this. This was given to me by Frank Zappa, and I framed it, and it was in my desk drawer, and I would like this. And
is that your failed interview with Frank Zappa that you cut the crap? Yeah.
Cut the crap, and I would literally cut the crap.
Cut the crap.
That's cool.
So
we used to cut coke. We used to cut coke and speed on albums. And one time, gotta be maybe 8-10 years ago, I run into a guy in a bar, and he was talking about the speed he bought 40-50 years ago that was purple, and it happened to be from my joint. And the reason the speed was purple is we cut it on, put the Jimi Hendrix's first album on, Purple Haze, and we cut it on that, and the dye come out of the goddamn speed. It was an ounce of speed, and the whole ounce turned purple. But we still sold it. We still.
That's why you're supposed to use a bar mirror. Get a mirror like one of those ones that they always have at all the bars where it has an advertised for Miller or whatever. That's what you use to cut the shit off.
Yeah, this was the hippie days. We didn't even have food in the fucking house, man. Music.
Well, if you have meth, you don't need food.
And I cut it with B12.
I used to be, when I was a speeder, I was 160 pounds.
If you want to cut it with ether base.
What do you weigh now, Bobby?
Frank doesn't do drugs.
20,
You're right, Nicole.
25. I was 295 about 3 years ago.
Wow. When I stopped doing blow, I was 118.
Ooh, how tall are you?
Not very.
4'5".
Back then I was taller. I was 5'6" and
Well,
a half.
yeah, I'm losing.
You've never been 5'6.5".
Shut up, man.
No fucking way.
I will arm wrestle you for that. I've been 5'6" and a half.
Patrick's got hair that's
No
longer than
fucking
you are
way.
tall.
No way. Are you five? Were you
Wait,
ever 5'6"
Hey,
and a
Kim,
half?
when my mom
And a
delivered
half.
me, I was 5'6.5".
Yeah.
Yeah, I got up to 5'6" and a half.
Well, that's, with platform shoes maybe, but that's about it. No way, standing barefooted were you 5'6.5". That was your mom just giving you a break on the fucking wall, like where they etch out, like here's
Yeah,
Jim
there
at
you go.
13. That's your
Yeah,
mom
Doc.
making you feel better.
5'6" and a half is not tall.
Oh, I know.
That is
Not short either.
I mean,
That is
I'm
not very tall.
well, whatever. I'm 5'8" now. I think I
Well,
was.
Rachel's not here, is she, Loki?
I've lost 3/4 of an inch since high school.
This I will say, this is an old man stream today, so that's
Yes,
what
it
people.
is.
It's always an old man stream.
We're all
I'm an old man. I got no problems being old.
I don't either. I'm just.
Rachel might have been strict, but maybe you should have thought about what you were saying that one time if you wanted to, go back to those days. But
You want to do a little more vinyl?
no,
Okay,
No, I'm done with records.
trying to cut down.
please put the label on the back. We can't see the nice cover.
I've never heard that suggestion, but this is one of those 1990 at the height of CD, and one of Van Morrison's great record. I got it on CD when it came out, and I just found this vinyl copy the other day. These are also not easy to find, and I'm still
So
looking.
what does that note say? So hold on a second. So what does the note say?
I'll read the whole thing to you, okay? Because it is unreadable. So
I'm getting bigger too, Loki.
The title of the record is Enlightenment. So the front line, top line, Enlightenment, 1990. Then underneath, I've got Polydor Canadian OG label with custom inner sleeve. Just says what it's in.
That's the bottom line.
Bottom line is near mint. That's cover near mint, record near mint. And then I've got this abbreviation sequence that I use for myself. So I put them in Discogs. That's recorded in Discogs. I clean them on a machine. That's a C for cleaning. I change the inner sleeve out. So I've got an IS inner sleeve. And then I check the seams and repair them if needed. And that's an S.
All right. So question. So if you clean a record, do you ever not put it in a new sleeve, or do they always put in a new sleeve?
I have put them back in the original sleeves a number of times. So
how many records do you have, Doc?
I'm over 13,000 now.
Oh my God, you're not well.
And you call yourself.
It also says on the little label, has night sweats, needs more fiber in their diet.
I have another label for you. You should also put in odds I'm going to listen to this record again before I die. So that's the next one.
The date that you bought it, the date and price.
That's a good album.
I put that on Discogs. I put that registers the date, and I put on where I bought it, and I put the price. So
is that on Tower?
Yeah, this is an original Tower Records. And I still have one of theirs, and I'm going to have to look back. But I've got now, I think they put out 3 records after Van left that are all just extremely hard to find. And I've got a couple of them. I've got a repress of one. So this is another one.
After Van left, they were called Us.
I put the record on the turntable, and sometimes I take it off before I go to sleep.
Yeah, I don't always. I leave them sometimes.
Hey, Joel, were you in that band?
The Night Sweats,
Butt Sweat.
More like the Night Terrors.
Swamp Ass. I was in a band called Shame Based Fear, and I was in a band called King Kalani and the Blowing Samoans, but that was not woke. We wore grass skirts and coconut bras.
Speaking of shitty comments and colonoscopies and stuff, my friend had a band called the Itchy Stars.
Thank you.
How's that connect?
Bum.
Stars. So I watched a movie about the Velvet Underground last night. It's just called The Velvet Underground. It was
a documentary.
Yeah, it's a documentary. It was on Amazon Prime. Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, some great interviews. They had a lot of John Cale in there, and a lot of Mo Tucker in there, and they played. You heard a lot of the music. It was just so good. So Yeah, I recommend it. It's about 2 hours long.
I think I've seen that. I was talking to someone who was saying, yeah, there's no good records in the 80s. And I said, well, what about Lou Reed, New York? I mean,
Who the hell said there's no good records in the 80s?
Ton of good
well,
records.
they don't sound as good as they did back in the 60s.
Were you looking in the mirror when you had this conversation?
When did what about Thriller?
Yeah.
Huh?
What
Hey,
about Born in
Thriller
the
was
USA?
Thriller
The
was a
Smiths.
pretty,
I mean, shit. There's
Tunnel of Love.
This guy was whining and complaining.
REM.
He's an
I
old
mean,
guy.
Jesus
if this guy
Christ.
if this
What
guy
about
was your
Guns N'
friend, you
Roses?
should no longer
Yeah,
be
you
his
have a
friend.
point there.
That's one of those old farts that said there's no good music even now.
What about
I mean,
AC/DC
right.
Back in Black?
yeah.
This is a guy who says everything Chad does sounds the same.
Does he have a house sound? Maybe. I don't know.
Tom
I don't
Ford?
agree.
To Bobby, all the best. Van Morrison, signed especially to me.
Oh,
Very
nice.
nice.
Wait, hold on a
That's
second.
nice.
Harry's here. I have an autograph question for you, Harry. So I found this. I found this Robert Fripp album at a flea market, and this is a legit sign because I've looked at his comps.
Yeah.
Fucking camera. So
Yeah, look-
apparently Robert Fripp doesn't sign a lot. So is that true?
I have no idea.
It sounds
yeah.
like
You know, I find Patrick, when you ask Harry a real question, he
It
has
doesn't
nothing.
work out for you. Yeah. I'm like going,
You know,
Harry's here. He knows about this shit.
I can't concentrate because his camera keeps doing this, and it just
Patrick,
Well, you know what?
That should be like a typical Saturday night for you, Harry.
Yeah, you know what? Patrick's just giving us what it's like to eat a bowl of Harry's clam chowder.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the
hey, I
effect
made
that-
red beans and rice yesterday, and it came out really good.
Nobody died yet.
Patrick,
Hold on.
contact Rockaway about signatures.
When you say it
Okay.
came out really good, Harry, does that mean when you did a
The
number
next
two?
morning.
Yes.
Can I say? I'll say Jim from RCN sent me. How's that?
Yeah, I mean,
how
I'll
did the
say,
clam
I'll
chowder
say yeah. I
taste?
was supposed to come visit your show with Jim, but you fuckers couldn't get out of bed to like let me in. But yeah.
Here's some Patrick, here's
You
something
put
I'm
it
very
that way.
surprised. Here's something I'm very surprised about. The record stores in LA, I find records with autographs in them. And it doesn't feel like they put a value to that. They just price it and put it in the bins.
Because they can't verify it. So what are they going to do?
Right.
and it's
well,
almost like it detracts from it. There's a lot of like where they list a bunch of people and who gives a shit.
So I looked it up. So you know on because the internet's so wonderful, I could go look at people that have sold the Robert Fripp autograph. That's definitely his autograph. It's absolutely spot on. But I mean, I saw his stuff. It's like going for like $500. I'm like going, fuck, but that's been verified. It's been like whatever.
Most
that
autograph
company has
records
verified
don't
it.
go for that much.
Oh no, I mean, I was like going to sell it for like 30.
I
was like,
bought. What's his name? Dylan Noble bought a collection maybe 4 years ago, and it had 5 or 6 Warren Zevon signed albums from a collection. They were like real thing. I bought them from him. I don't know. Maybe I paid $30, $25 a record or something, but I bought all of them.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it depends on how often do people sign. I mean, was Warren Zevon a guy that signed a lot of stuff? But I've been reading that Robert Fripp that did sign a lot of stuff.
I don't think he signed necessarily a lot. I mean, it wasn't.
Well, he
Yeah.
signed
The record. The record.
Ask Dr. Robert.
I
If
don't have.
anybody got 5 of them signed, it would be Dr. Robert.
Right.
I've never tried Fripp, but I'll say from what I've heard about his personality, it wouldn't surprise me that he would just say no.
Well, on Reddit, people are saying how that I sent you that record, Bobby.
Like I have an Elvin Jones autograph here, but my name's not Mark.
That's the black vinyl there.
I think the black vinyl is worth more than the blue vinyl of that album.
Oh,
Don't
way
be showing that.
Yeah, it is. That's right. The black vinyl's worth more.
Well, there goes your stream right there. Bobby just totally shut you down. Why?
No.
What did he just show?
He just showed the Blind Faith album.
Oh,
I've showed that album on my. I've showed the John and Yoko album, 2 Virgins, on my videos.
It's not quite as bad.
At least he's
2
not
versions?
suggesting it on camera.
Bobby Blue Bland.
Yeah.
Nice one.
I like that guy.
Yeah, I did too.
He could sing. I sent you that one too.
No, I don't. I think I bought it. Did I buy this one off of you?
I think that was one of the throw-ins.
Oh yeah, 15 I paid for. That's a good price.
Maybe it wasn't a throw-in.
Yeah. I like this. I like some of the songs off of this band, Audience.
They're Canadian.
Audience is Canadian?
I think so.
I didn't know that.
This
I
was
could be
from
wrong.
Seattle when he played at the King Cat Theater.
Very nice.
I like those shows when he was reading his books.
I never got autographs. I never thought of it.
I never used to, Jim, and it's only been recent for me. But it's really fun.
No,
And,
they're from the UK. I'm sorry, Bobby. I was wrong.
It's not
Yeah.
fun for them.
well, I know you don't like it, but most of the time I don't even meet the artist. I look for somebody that looks like they're just hanging out.
Then how do you know they're actually signed by the artist?
Fair, but it's somebody that's with the band that's hanging out outside the stage door having a smoke, and I say, are you with the band? And they're like, yeah. And if they're willing to take them in, they take them. And
You should say, "Hey, are you with the band?" And they go, "Yeah." You want to fuck?
that would be tangential.
What's a girl like you? Didn't you just say that you got out being juked with a
That would
baby?
not be helpful to the purpose I was there, but
But you got
I was
out.
waiting outside the
Just a little
stage
tug,
door
yeah.
at a Randy Newman show, and my wife and I were the only people waiting. And the guy came out and he says, "Can I help you guys?" "Yeah, we're waiting for Randy." He says, "Well, come on in." He just took us into the green room, and
right.
he was as nice as could be.
Yeah.
That's because she's short like Jim.
Yeah.
I
Is
found
he
out we
wouldn't
share
let
a
Jim in.
birthday.
He wouldn't let
Shorties.
Jim in the green room.
I was at Dodger Stadium one time in the 11th inning. Nobody's there, and they used to.
Oh,
Well,
he just froze up right in the middle of the story. How
I know.
perfect was that?
The Dodgers have their people out on the internet. Finish your story, Jim.
Like,
Why
Come
you
on,
frozen?
Jim.
I'm
Don't
smoking
leave
a
us
cigarette,
hanging.
and I see John Goodman. I see John Goodman there trying to be invisible. 11th inning, and he's still there.
Well, they stopped selling beer in the 8th, right?
No, not back then. I don't think. Anyway,
Yeah.
I couldn't resist. I went up to John Goodman and I said, "I loved you in Barton Fink," and he started talking and didn't shut up for 5 minutes. So he was very nice. He was very nice, and we smoked a cigarette together.
You know,
Now he's tall.
I
You
like
know-
these.
Did you come up to his belly button?
hold on.
It
know
was
how
a
I
crack shot. It was.
I met Jim is I went up to him and I said, "I loved you in The Wizard of Oz," and he wouldn't shut up for 2 hours.
We
He was one of the
represent
Lollipop
the
Guild?
Lollipop Guild. And not only is she merely dead, she's really most sincerely dead.
Not the first time you've done that, is it?
No.
I don't know, Jim. I like being in a stadium or an arena that's not packed. You can move around. You can go to other spots, and like you did, you went and met Goodman, right? You can go and see
Absolutely,
people,
man.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I prefer, stadiums and arenas, clubs, gigs. I don't like a full crowd.
Well, I mean, when that freaking place is rocking and rolling, when
Well,
it's a
that's
full
fun
crowd.
too, but I prefer it the other way.
Yeah.
Isn't that the team that got you kicked out of the record store?
Hey, Ed, I hope you're doing well, Ed.
I've seen Frampton with Humble Pie, and when was that? 1970, I think. Steve Marriott was what it was all about, anyhow. With Humble Pie, he was fantastic. What a
He
voice
seems
that guy
like a
had.
really nice guy now, though, in his old age. Seems like a
Who?
cool guy. Frampton.
He lost all his hair like me.
Apparently, he was
Oh, this
bagging
on his
he was
website.
bagging Beetle Babe's mom for like 25 years. So yeah.
Oh yeah. So was I though too. I think.
You know what they do on like TikTok now is they chop up movies and they put little clips. I lately have been seeing a lot of clips of the Sgt. Pepper's movie.
The shitty one.
I don't think it's shitty, but yes,
It's shitty.
It's shitty.
It's shitty.
Well, you guys have this thing about talking about shit.
Yeah, it's all poo poo lately.
Yeah, that was. I had to like sign off.
That's a bunch of crap.
That's why I couldn't find the stream link.
You just scroll up. I'm sorry.
Dude,
For like 5
it
minutes
was-
scrolling up.
dude. It's because you don't do this. It was slightly up a little bit.
Isn't there a search option? You can search it.
Let's
No,
derail
no.
this.
It
Not on
really
a-
wasn't. Harry's making a mountain out of
It,
it.
it wasn't. It was like 3 inches up.
There,
she
oh,
said.
right, 63.
Yeah, you're used to 3 inches,
I was
Harry.
going to say you would recognize 3 inches. So
I found it.
can I show one more grail? One more grail.
That's a grail.
Oh,
Who
it's
is
not
that?
a grail. Are you kidding me?
Which
These
is
are
Wait.
these are this is the first 4.
Oh, Icantina. I've never
first
seen
Yeah,
4
that.
Argentina records.
Looks like she just got hit in the lip.
Yeah. What is she playing a vampire in
was
a
married
movie?
to
What's
Ike.
going on there?
Did I get a right cross in before they took the photo?
All right, you're making racist comments.
She looks more like Aretha.
That's
than
not
she
racist. That's not racist. That means that she was married to Ike Turner.
Patrick.
That's not racist.
Yeah, you got to be careful, brother. So
Hey,
I'm
hey,
referencing
Dr.
domestic
Roberts.
violence.
Dr.
I'm referencing
Roberts,
domestic
we're not.
violence.
We like you. We're your friends. We're not your brothers.
Hey, where did you get that your little label thing?
Hey,
You're right.
hang on a
Got
second.
hit
Hang on a
by
second.
Ike.
I'm referencing domestic violence, not racism. When I say it looks like she got hit in the mouth.
I know you're not really. I'm just telling you to be careful. So
I smacked her in the mouth, Patrick.
yeah. So this is they had 4 records on Sue before they became really big, and now I have 2 of them. They are all several $100 if you find them, but at any rate, found this one just
I've never
recently.
even seen that record.
How's the music?
What's that?
How's the music?
Oh, it's great. It's a clean. And I wanted to show it mainly because I
Show
don't know
it back again.
but
Is it slows cooking soul music or upbeat like Ike and Tina intense stuff?
yeah, it's Ike and Tina. It's dance music, and
Okay.
but I wanted to show this for Wax so that he could get a break from my
Can we
leg.
see the back? Let's see the back.
Isn't Sue a UK label?
Why do people put the records like
No,
that?
it's
You
not.
can't see the back. Okay,
It's a
that's
New
how
York-
you want to see a record.
It's a New
So
York-
if it's Ike and Tina Turner, why don't they show Ike?
well, you'll have to
Ugly. Ike's ugly.
That sells records.
whatever.
Yeah, chicks sell records. Hey, Doc, I seen them guys in 1965 here in Toronto. Ike and Tina Turner. What a show. We're down in Parkdale, the Missouri Hall, right? We used to have a lot of places like that in Toronto back then, but not anymore. What a show. I'm telling you right now. What a show.
So
I'm
what
sure it
label was that, Doc?
It's Sue label, and that's,
Who owns that now?
PB Thal was asking. I think it's out of business. I don't know. It may be back.
But I
But
wonder
it-
who owns it, because that would be an interesting reissue.
Yeah, it would be an interesting reissue. All those would be. Those first 4 on Sue. It's
I
like
think
they-
in that
go ahead.
collection I bought, I'm pretty sure there was some UK comps on the Sue label, maybe
Well,
an
they-
imprint.
they
that
may
were
have
done.
had
No, Sue is a U.S. label.
Yeah, they may have had a UK subsidiary. I looked it up. They were a New York City label and mostly R&B and
They were owned by Jewel Records out of Shreveport.
So what I'm
record label.
wondering is because this comp came out in like probably the 80s, maybe like Charty Records in the UK did, like one of those companies that went in and just went and got the masters, whatever they had, and like took them over to the UK and then pressed that stuff.
Rob?
Mm.
You can go to the washroom. You can go to the washroom, man.
Well, I have a question, because the peanut gallery is talking about something I have no idea I'm talking about. Does Rachel have a Patreon?
Yes. Yeah. I'm a member. I was.
I mean,
part of the
still a
Patreon.
brand
She
new
told us all
Patreon?
to quit, so I quit.
Wait,
Rachel.
is she
Rachel.
putting,
obvious-
is she putting
Yes.
content on a Patreon now?
Yes. For the first time, I just got an email from Rachel.
Oh, I did
saying-
not know that. Okay.
I just got an email saying she will be live at 5
Today?
for Patreon.
So-
Yeah.
So of all
misses
the
it.
people, of all you people who have bets going on, when she would come back today at 5.
So basically,
Well, I mean, a
this
lot
is-
of people miss
so
her, and I think
is this
she
like
misses
this is
it,
like
too.
a stripper that leaves the strip club that just does like private shows? Sorry.
No.
Let her do what she wants to do, man.
Yeah, I'm not. Oh, it's not a criticism. Good for her. I just didn't know anything about this.
Well, wait,
I
is
didn't
there
get an
channel?
email.
Hold on.
When did
I
this
have a
email
question.
come, Joe?
I have a serious question because I don't know how the.
But I
Patreon
wasn't a Patreon member. That's probably why. I
Mazzy,
didn't-
Right.
Mazzy,
Right. Yes.
Me either.
I have a question. Does
Facebook.
her channel, when you click on it, does it take you to her channel?
Oh, look what just showed up on Instagram.
There you go.
I'm not on Instagram either.
Well,
You
that's
should be, Bobby,
Why?
because it's easy to
Why?
talk and chat and share stuff with you.
Patreon live stream. Okay, there we go. So 4:59 p.m. Okay.
That
Interesting.
seemed like an odd time.
All right.
I
can we
did not
talk
get an
about my
email.
refrigerator?
I just saw that. So, but
Wow, I
wasn't
wonder if it's
I wasn't
possible
a
to get an
Patreon member.
autographed copy of that picture.
I wasn't a Patreon member.
Rach got her Yellowstone hat on there.
Well, guys, I think I'm gonna wrap things up right now. It's 9
You
a.m.
got 1 minute left, Rob.
Yeah. Don't be.
Not anymore. It's time.
It's noon here. Time for lunch.
Yeah.
Yes, it is now.
Thanks for coming by, everybody. I really appreciate it. I'll be back Thursday morning, so
All right.
I'll
Thanks for
send
doing-
out. I'll post
Great.
it.
Wow, farewell.
All
Yeah,
right.
take care, everyone. Have a
Peter
good
saying
day.
goodbye.
Bye
You
bye.
don't have to go home, but
Go.
you can't stay here.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
go eat your leftover clam chowder, Harry.